Good morning. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. We're back at work. What did you do this weekend? Were you in the Chicago area and you saw T Swizzle? She did 2 shows. They were enormous. So I'm getting past my jet lag coming back from Fiji. Going there was not bad. Coming back, I must admit, the first 2 days I was feeling kind of groggy. So I was thinking this morning, I'd wanted to do that trip for so long. And I went through photos with my mom and my dad over the weekend, and they were actually like interested to see the photos. And I think some of that is because this is something that I've wanted to do forever and ever and ever. And how did it finally happen? Well, it finally happened because I just made a decision and I scheduled it. I just decided that this is going to happen. I'm going to figure out a way to get myself there. And then opportunities started to arise, and it didn't happen the way that I thought it was gonna, and it didn't happen right away. Initially I was gonna be there in 2020. Well, obviously that didn't happen, but I just scheduled it. The people that went to the Taylor Swift concert this weekend in Chicago, she did 2 concerts. How did they do that? Well, they just decided. They just made a decision that in fact they were gonna go. They were gonna go and they were gonna do that. They're going to not worry about the cost. They're going to not worry about what the tickets are. They're going to get themselves in that stadium and they're going to have that experience. There's 2 types of pains, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons. And the thing about creating those moments is you're never going to forget them. I think at the end of our span, we're not going to remember days. We're not going to remember months. We're going to remember moments. We're going to remember those special times that either we created or somehow the universe came together and things kind of magically happened. So you can go through your life kind of hoping that those events are going to happen, or you can intentionally create them. And when you intentionally create them, they're not always going to work out. And they're not always going to be spectacular, but you're going to get a lot more chances to have them when you're out there working towards making those events. And they don't always have to cost a lot of money. Sometimes obviously, a trip to Fiji is going to cost a certain amount of money. So is Taylor Swift. But the trip to Fiji ended up not costing me what I thought because I went there as a trainer. But you can also create special moments that don't cost you anything. All you need is creativity. So what is it that you've had on your list for a long time or maybe for your entire life that you've never done? What's in that dream bucket? Because we see all the time people that had plans and never put them in to actions, and now a loved one is gone and they're never going to get an opportunity to execute on that plan. Is it a trip to Hawaii? Is it a trip to go see the redwoods? Is it to see the pyramids? Is it to see the Vatican? Is it to go on an Alaskan cruise? What is it? Is it to have a dinner somewhere? Whatever it is, what is it that you've always wanted to do that you've never scheduled and never created a timeline when it was going to happen? Think about that for a minute and then do it. Schedule a timeline. Maybe it's 2 years from now. That's fine. Maybe if it's something that costs a decent amount of money, maybe it's 3 years from now. But start setting aside the money and schedule that event. And I think you're going to find that once you make a decision that in fact you're going to do it, whatever it is, that all of a sudden things will start to fall into place for it to happen. And that's really true with anything that we want to create in our life. Once we decide, remember, decision comes from the Latin that's the same as incision. It means to cut off. It means that there's no other option. When Cortez got to the New World, he burnt his boats. And as a result, his men were very motivated. Burn your boats. Make the decision to take the leap and do that thing that you've always wanted to do. Maybe it's write a book. Maybe it's run a marathon. Whatever it is, make that decision that you're going to do it and schedule a time when it's going to happen. Maybe it's 6 weeks from now. Maybe it's 6 months from now. Maybe it's 5 years from now. Whatever it is, schedule it and then work your way backwards and start working towards that outcome, that dream. A goal is a dream with a deadline. So whatever your dream is that you've always wanted to do, make it a goal and give it a deadline and say, here's the date upon which I'm going to accomplish this outcome. and start working backwards towards that date and towards that event. I think you're going to find also that you start getting excited, that it motivates you. You know, I always like to have something that I'm working towards because it motivates me to get up and to do the stuff that I need to do in order to get there. So I think you're going to find that if you do that, if you schedule that trip, whatever it is, that dream trip or that dream thing, it doesn't have to be a trip, that you're going to be a lot more motivated to do the things that you need to do on a daily basis in order to get there. So take a moment and actually figure out what that dream is. You know that you've got it, that you've always been like, oh, it's, you know, it costs too much, it's unrealistic, whatever it is, I'm not sure how to do it. Usually we say it can't be done because we don't know how to do it. But you don't need to know how to do it. You need why. You need your why. Why is it that you want to get this done? And then schedule that deadline. And I'd love it if you shared as to what it is that you're going to do in the chat on this particular video. Share what your next thing is. What is that dream that you're going to actually put into effectuation so that you're going to get it done? We'll all support you. We can hold each other accountable. This can be our accountability group if you want. If you don't want, then that's fine. And you don't want to share that, that's fine. But I encourage you, you all got something that you've always wanted. Set a date upon which you're going to get that particular thing done. Have a great day, everybody. Mary, it's great to see you this morning. I know my Uncle Bill was on here, Mr. Drehobel down in Florida. Andrea, great to see you. Joanne, great to see you too. And Diana, where are you in the world? It's nice to see you here. I can't figure out where my gypsy is off to these days. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.